All right, if you just joined us, this is still Enterprise Morning on Enterprise TV, and now to our main conversation for today. There is confusion in the All Progressive Congress APC in Edo State as another governorship candidate emerged on Saturday from a parallel primary election in the state. Shortly after House of Representatives member Dennis Idahosa was declared as the winner of the APC Governorship Primary Election in Edo State, another group which held a parallel primary elections declared Senator Monday Okpebholo as the APC governorship candidate in the state also. While the primary election which produced Idahosa was conducted by Governor Uzodimma of Imo State, the parallel election that produced Okpebholo was conducted by Ugboaja. Now let's head into our main conversation for today, and to have that with me in the studios today is Lushville. He is a chartered accountant and also a public affairs commentator. You're welcome, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, Henry, and to all our viewers, good morning. A beautiful Monday morning. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you so very much for having you. So let's get into the crux of the matter today, and of course it's the fracas that is ensured and in Edo State right now. We have two factions of the APC producing candidates for the party. Do you think this is possibly a plan by Governor Osagie to maybe create a problem in the party so as his candidate from the PDP could have a great time?
Thank you very much, Henry. You know, most of the time when we have issues like this, it's quite interesting where we try to do blame game, you know, attributing the issues to Governor Osagie. He's in PDP, APC is where they are. So the house that cannot come together to find a solution to their problem, you don't blame it. It's just like a man in the house that failed to give, house key, and he's blaming it on external person, maybe the friend or somebody that is actually planning ill for his family is doomed. You see, if you look at the context of which our political parties run these days, it's interesting that this will always happen because it's not about service, it's about self-satisfaction. It's about the selfish interest and what you stand to gain. If indeed it's for service, you ask yourself, why do we need to have 2, 3? As at this morning, I think I was hearing that we now have about 3 from APC and not just 2. So you can imagine the one from the National Executive Council led by Uzodimma that was obstructed. You see our primaries now filled up with thugs, disrupting the flow of things. And you ask yourself, why is everyone fighting to make sure that my own candidate is? It's about the greed in that person. So that if my candidate is there, at least I'm guaranteed that for the next 4 years, you have a lot of things. And you see, when you fight for your leaders, what amounts to is that at least you have maybe 1 or 2 things to gain. If you are not in power, you can be given an agency or a garage or a market or something to manage. So why won't I want to kill myself to make sure that my candidate wins? And it starts from primary. At least when you win the primary, you have the guarantee that you can put up more strength out there when you now go for the main election. You see, the way and manner we have our elections being conducted is just the main issue. It's not about service. It's about what we are out there to gain. Because people out there says that an average businessman is not making an headway. If you're an entrepreneur, there's nothing you can do. Multinationals are living. So the only means of survival as we speak is politics. So when you are in it, you have a lot to make for yourself, because if you take our money and you share it back to us, we come and applaud you. We'll come and sing praises of you, because you cannot you cannot fathom where the basic thing expected of government is being done, and we sing praises of them. Is it not the taxpayers' money that they're using, or they are using their personal funds? So this that is happening is not new and it's not strange. If it has not happened, it would have been a different ballgame for me. But happening shows that that is the crop of things that we have in our politics. And the next thing you see, the high and mighty coming to prevail, and the litigations here and there that might, one way or the other, lead to disqualification. But anyway, let me say, as far as I'm concerned, this that is happening in APC, wait for PDP, wait for Labour, you always find it because of the greed and what you stand to gain as followers of anyone. Ordinarily, once you win the primary, you are very optimistic. You see everybody coming out to say, at least I have the assurance that will win the election. And even if your boss do not win the election, at that point in time, some of the largesse you enjoy possibly will make you one of the spokesman of the aspirant. You understand what we're trying to say. So it's not going to be it's not going to be the complaint that you're giving now. But definitely you live in affluence, you go with the aspirant, because the aspirant lives large even before coming to power. So it's what is happening is not strange to me. I expect same to come with PDP. Maybe we are hearing Labour to galvanizing together, but it's about the greedy nature, and the followers actually do that to protect their cup of tea. Like we have in our presence.
Exactly. So let's look at this issue from the perspective of where we started from in 1999, possibly. We had a more sane environment in our political space in 1999. After 1999, every other administration seems to go south, seems not to get it all good. Right now, it's a time when, leaders in charge are beginning to say, it's my turn, Emiloko, and so on and so forth. And that has, infested lots of other political parties who are equally in turn, equally saying, it's our turn, it's our turn, and it's our turn. Where do you see this going to with this, just like you say, the greedy and the insatiable nature of politicians in Nigeria? Where do you see Nigeria in the coming years with this kind of character?
Truth be told, that it's actually going to create more problem for us. You see, this ownership mentality that we've introduced into the politics is not taking us far, because most of the time it's about fulfilling your personal mission of saying, I want to be there at all costs, at least to be referred to as a politically elected leader. Even if I don't make any deliverables to the people, it's nothing to write home about. So that ownership mentality is for you to see, how do I fight it? How do I grab it? How do I run with it? Without you having any plan. You see, as we speak currently, people can put accusing fingers to the federal government. I ask, how much are the states doing? You can see the way people in Edo, which state can you go to that you can boastfully say that even the civil servant, let's start from their immediate constituency, can applaud what their governors are doing. Maybe 2 or 3 or 4 out of 36. What percentage are we actually talking about? The rest are still owing, the rest are struggling to pay 30% minimum wage. But their leaders fly in and out. Their own spending is not being impacted with the FAC allocation. In fact, they set it aside. Once they get their money, what you will use to take care of the boss is set aside. If the followers are going to enter into poverty the more, they are less concerned about it. So these are the problem we are faced with, ownership mentality without preparing. All we want to see is that Henry is the governor. Henry is a senator. Henry is, and every, goodies, let me put it that way, that is in line with that offices, you tend to enjoy. And that's why I ask people that we cannot do like the way it's happening in the developed world. You see, even with all the good things that are attached to the offices, in the developed climate, when they know that what they actually thoughts is not what they met, they throw in the towel and they excuse themselves. They are not concerned about it. But here, we die there. Even when everyone is complaining and you can see to the face, it's about, no, it is my turn. And let me just do, because the other people that have failed, what exactly have we done
to them
to serve as deterrent for anybody coming to say, no, It's not business as usual. If I don't satisfy some of the promises, if I don't fulfill some of the promises of some of my commitment to the people, these are things I'm going to face. A lot of them will come.
Yes, but my question is, who do you think could be in charge of ensuring that issues like this do not happen, and to ensure that something is done to press the reset to ensure that leaders who have less performed would be punished in a commensurate way, so that people coming in would understand how not to get it wrong?
No other person than the citizen.
The citizen.
The citizen. Because, you have the power to say, we actually elected you. We don't want you any longer.
Okay.
We can look for moves of recalling our leaders. People will say that is difficult. Have we tried it? Most of the time you look at those stringent things that they put, they're fine. They are serious bottleneck that the elites have actually put in place. Can we give a try to say, okay, we are taking the step? Because we believe that we, people elected you. But most of the time, who are the people that elected the people that are in power? Very few people that they have control over. So when the few people determine the face of the bigger numbers, you can only complain. Because most of the time, the elites and the people that are supposed to vote are indoor criticizing. And those that are actually, wallow in poverty are given stipends to come out and commit to what they feel they know. And it's about what you hear. So when the elites are saying, no, Henry is this, Henry is that. But Henry is just out there talking. And somebody is saying, Henry is coming to say, yes, they said I'm bad. But can you have this for your breakfast? During the dinner, Henry is calling again. Have you eaten? Have you taken your dinner? Henry, please, who do you think those people will follow?
Definitely.
Our politics are so monetized in such a way that the highest bidder have it all, even if he's doing the wrong thing. So I feel that the citizens should have a thought through. Those days they will say, whatever you do, give me your money. I will still do what I have within myself. And we've seen a lot of people losing out in that which they do. So for me, it's in the hands of the citizen. They must take their faith in their hand and do what is needful. When you have a leader that is in there, that has not done what he's supposed to do, let's initiate the call to call him back and say, this is what we want to do.
Now, this is very, very important to me. It's so important to me because we are all in the trenches and we feel the pains. And it's very important we look for solutions in this. You talked about ensuring that our politics is not monetized. But the question again is, you equally talked about recalling the citizenry, recalling those in authority. My question still is, how would a citizenry recall those in authority when the people are poor? They have weaponized poverty, so much so that it's only a well-fed person that can go and ask himself, how do we recall someone who's representing us? When the majority of people are not, finding it easy, how do you think we can gravitate to making this work? Because we need to just find a solution, a lasting solution to this thing, in spite of the so many bottlenecks these politicians have created.
You see, when you say we are wallowing in poverty, I laugh. Because if indeed we are impoverished, we will react to certain things in a different way. But most of the time, our citizenry, they've studied us, they know the strengths, they know our areas to get out of us. If Henry is the spokesperson for the poor in an area, and you are the only one vocaling out all the time, all we need to do is to call you and talk to you. We can change your suits and make you look better. Even the glasses you're wearing is not it. And we just give you a sloth. And the next thing is you just keep your mouth shut.
True.
So they understand it. And if Henry refuses to yield to the pressure, you have the threat, life-threatening messages. So until people start protecting those that are actually called their leaders, you protect them first and you ask questions. So if Henry suddenly change, Henry that is always advocating for the people, suddenly change, then there are questions to be answered. We must be accountable to the people at any level. That implies that if Henry is leading us and with just a little thing that is being baited with, he's actually making an excuse for him. So that means if you give you the almighty power, we will not have access to you. So I still believe that the power lies with the people. The very few elites that we're talking about are not as much as well. So if we can talk about being weaponized with poverty and everything, but we can do it in a different way. I won't say that people should go out, protest, or create chaos, but there are periods that you can engage them. How much time have we, one way or the other? And those people understand. That's why you will not see them visit their constituencies.
Yeah.
They won't. Everybody now sees in Abuja. So can you and I put our resources together and go to Abuja to go and meet our representative there? When the cost of flight, as we speak, is unaffordable, and you don't want to go by road, so that you will not, because of the level of insecurity. But when we have access to them to come back up, those are things that we must start entrenching in our law. How can you engage the people you claim you are leading? There must be constant, engagement, feedback of certain things you're doing. Possibly every quarter, possibly every 6 months. We must see. So at the point when you're talking to us and you know what we're saying is not in sync with reality, we can let you know to your face that you are not safe. So even if you go to Abuja, a lot of petition can be written without even getting there.
Now let's look at a very important element in all of these things. And of course, we can't talk about this without mentioning INEC. So a couple of months back, after the May 25th general election of 2023, and we all saw what happened and all. There was this issue of legitimacy. There was this issue of people not trusting the INEC again in conducting decent elections in Nigeria. With what we see today in Edo State, where do you think the INEC would swing towards? Would it be towards the whole Uzodimma conducted elections, or would it be other primaries that were equally conducted with the APC?
I'm sure it's only one person that can make report to INEC. And Open Uzodimma-led faction, let me put it that way, would definitely be the authentic team led by the national ESCO of APC.
Even if it's not widely supported by every member of the APC.
If you have issues and you form different fractions, different factions that not in line, it's to your disadvantage. Because the other factions, who are they going to report to? Is it not the national executive that will not make the submission? So you can see that we started having legal issue. That's why we say internal democracy plays a major key role. So these are problems we're supposed to have solved out within yourself. And that's why we saw in some states during the last election, they lost, the parties lost because of failure of internal democracy within themselves. So the place of INEC here is simple. What they are waiting is, because every state ESCO make their report to the national, and it is what the national ESCO submit to INEC that they will definitely follow. And I'm sure that the other names that you heard, and I don't think they are ESCO or one of the leaders of the party that has actually created that party. So it's just like you are a leader, go ahead and conduct that particular election. So for me, place of INEC is simple. Most of the time, we've even seen situations where people will invite INEC to the factional primaries, being organized. But one thing I keep saying is that it is not from the states that you make your report directly to INEC. It goes through the national ESCO. And whosoever the national ESCO has actually nominated to conduct primary at the state is who the INEC would definitely recognize.
But in 30 seconds, do you think INEC is doing enough conscientization when it gets to educating these people to understand their do's and their don'ts, especially when it concerns internal democracy, like you did mention?
Yeah, they do their best, but I always tell you that because of what I said initially, the greedy nature in every human, it tends to just overlook what is happening. So for me, INEC should not come in to determine what, because they are not supposed to. They are just to coordinate. In fact, when the election, these primaries are being conducted, they are there as observers to make their comments. So they are not to get involved in some of the things you do. So when you are done, they have to make their report to say, no, this is what happened. If it is the people that were actually nominated by the National ESCO, they come up and say, okay, when we got there, the man that came second, these are things you observe. Your report will roll it out, and that's where INEC can prevail. But when it comes to faction A, faction B, faction C, I always believe that the people that are sent from the national, who Uzodimma was not there on his own personal voyage, the leaders must have asked him to lead the team. That is what is always observed or obtainable when we carry out primary. So the other factions will definitely go to court, fight their case, but we keep saying it that if it's indeed an act of service, we should not be seeing rancor. So when Henry comes in, I should provide my own support to see the best you can get, because it is about our party and not about individuals.
Exactly. And just like Mr. Okoa did say, you know, it's about internal democracy. When we fail to organize ourselves internally, then it will obviously be difficult for us to have a good leader who will champion the cause of the Nigerian state. I'd love to say thank you so very much, Olusegun Okoa, for being part of our show. It was really engaging. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much, Henry, for having me this morning. And to our viewers, I just want to encourage you that the current situation we find ourselves, encourage yourself. I don't want to sound spiritual, but I read somewhere in the scripture that said, and David encouraged himself in the Lord. So the situation where we are now, first encourage yourself, because it is when you are encouraged, you can encourage others.
Exactly. Spot on. So I'd love to say thank you so very much for being part of our show today. Please do well to visit our website, www.enterprisetvnews.com. Like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. I am Henry Igwebike. I'll see you tomorrow for yet another awesome time. Bye-bye from me.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.